Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back once again with the Renegade Master. I'm your Dreadlockcaster, RedRipz, and we're here today on Derelict Watcher Tournament Edition. Now, this is a continuation of the best of three game I was casting last week. Basically, they're having a whole tournament, so I'm just going to try and get through as many of the replays as possible. So, this is the match following immediately after the previous one, which Grit comfortably won, in a 2-1 victory over our friend Snake there now. And basically this is so obviously the winners. Chokeslam won his match as well, and now we've got the two winners going on to, I think this is the semi-final of the winners bracket, I do believe. So the winner of this match will go through to the final of the winners bracket to get through to the grand final. Okay, so here we are, Derelict Watcher. It's a TVT game, and in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, today's brother from another mother, in the blue, it is Chokeslam. Yeah. Woo. He's going to be competing today for the crowning victory against Grit, the red Terran player, up here in the top right-hand corner. Today's sister from another mister. Looking really good now in the top right-hand corner of Derelict Watcher Tournament Edition. So, as I say, this is the Terrible Tournament of Fun, I'm told the name of the tournament is. Looking at the brackets, it's actually the VT1 Second Star Cup, but we'll go with Terrible Tournament of Fun. I actually quite like that name. Yes, so we'll be seeing a TVT game here today. Both players straight away taking a barracks at the front. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Pretty much similar timings on each. And as this is a gold level game, at very least, I'm not actually entirely sure. At least one of the players was ranked gold, and I was told that they were approximately that sort of level. So we should be... Yeah, we should be seeing players that know at least what they're doing. Don't expect perfection, but expect some cool little plays here. They're aware of what things do. They know how to mine stuff and build buildings, which, let's face it, is what you need to do. So we're seeing a refinery out here, out of Grit. I would imagine Reapers will be coming out now, would be the obvious choice. Either that, or we get a nice early supply depot down there. That's blocked the front wall nicely, so Chokeslam's not going to get any scouting information there. Meanwhile, Grit will be able to move his SCV down, and actually, even though there is actually a supply depot at the front of Chokeslam's base already there. So with that in mind, Chokeslam's not going to get any scouting information. Neither is Grit, assuming Chokeslam brings the front ramp up there. He does do that. Both players just sort of generally mining up, getting command centres out, all the usual kind of fun. And it doesn't look like we're seeing Reapers here. We're going to see a 2-racks play out of Grit instead. I'd imagine he'll be getting some sort of upgrade out of his barracks before long, maybe, or maybe going for an early 1-1, or some other excuse for this early gas would be nice. He's not gone straight into a factory, and he's not looking to produce Reapers, it doesn't seem. So we'll have to wait and see what he wants to do with that. Meanwhile, our friend Chokeslam here is going to go another 2 barracks behind this, so we're seeing a 3-racks play out of Chokeslam here. So this is actually quite aggressive. I mean, Grit was being pretty aggressive going straight into 2-racks, or at least I would say so. However, Chokeslam straight into the 3-racks. This looks quite strong. A move to well, just generally to push forward and try and do a lot of damage early on. We're actually seeing a 4th barracks now. Oh god, we're seeing 4 barracks being produced now. So actually Chokeslam's going right up to 5 barracks straight off the bat. Meanwhile, our Grit player at the top here, he's going to be getting a factory down instead. So that is the use of the gas, it seems. So it doesn't look like he'll be going into Reapers. We might be seeing well, the 2-1-1 play out of Grit here. We'll have to wait and see. Are we going to see a starport down after this factory? Let's find out. So meanwhile, Chokeslam hiding the rest of his barracks at the side of his base. He's trying to make it look to Grit as if he's basically just going the 1-racks, because he'll only see the one at the front, unless he can actually get something into this base to scout. I mean, obviously these two are relatively easily findable by any sort of Medivac or something could easily wander over and see these, but these two at the back, a little bit more hidden. He's trying to hide his technology and make sure he isn't caught out there. Meanwhile, Grit getting the starport down behind this, and it does look like he's generally just moving forward towards that sort of later game tech. He's playing for the longer game there, not necessarily rushing out the expansion, so it's not necessarily going to see a macro game out of these players, but he's generally not. He's powering at the tech rather than into the troop production, which is actually exactly what Chokeslam is doing. Is he's going to be producing. He's getting a 6 barracks down now, and I'll be honest, I kind of think this is a few too many barracks for one base here, mate. Or at least maybe get some reactors out. I mean, I guess you haven't got a refinery, so we're not going to be seeing a reactor straight away. Although considering he's getting engineering bay down, he is going to need some gas to be getting upgrades. I can understand why you might want to skip your gas just to get extra minerals out, and then just pump out marines out of extra barracks rather than getting the gas. But if you're not going to do that, then it's a slightly strange decision to suddenly get an engineering bay. He's perhaps going for a planetary fortress or something strange. Like, it's kind of difficult to call in that respect, because he is going to need, as you can see, gas for all of these upgrades here in the thing. And with Grit getting a huge scan on, he's going to be aware of at least 3 barracks that he's seen. There's 2 more here, and there's actually is that another barracks? Yes, another barracks finishing up the front there. So it looks like Grit's going to be getting his few marines that he's pulled together. He's going to be moving out the front of his base. He is going to be producing tanks as well. So we could see sort of general marine tank kind of play. I'd imagine some medivacs coming out before too long for Grit. It does look actually like both players are just going to completely bypass each other here. Just have a look at the numbers. I think Chokeslam, yeah, Chokeslam does have more marines. He should have more marines. He's got more barracks. That's how that one's going to play out. So really it's up to Grit to defend here. So what the most important unit I'd say here is going to be this siege tank. If you can get the siege tank up on the high ground in a position where these marines aren't going to stop him from doing his damage, then he should be absolutely all right. And as we know, you don't need to get the siege tank siege upgrade like you used to in Wings of Liberty. So this isn't so much of a problem. And actually, we're just going to see all these marines straight up die at the siege tank. I think if they're not even perhaps going to get through, are they going to? Or they are actually going to make it through. But another 2 shots and this lot will be down. And there's now more than enough marines here out of Grit to come and deal with this. And that will be the last of those marines. Even the tanks surviving their lovely pull on the drones by Grit. Perhaps slightly too many. Not drones. Sorry, SCVs by Grit there. Perhaps slightly too many pulled out. Didn't really need that many, but he was making sure he kept the thing alive, and well, he's done just that. So he's still got his tank, he's still got his marines at the front, and he also has a medivac on top now. So this is actually looking a little bit rough here for Chokeslam, who's now finally got his gas up. He's going to be getting some upgrades, I would imagine, out of his engineering bay. Still not really looking to get any add-ons for his barracks yet, it doesn't seem. Although we'll have to wait and see what he does with this gas as he's gradually building that up now. And actually, yeah, we are going to be getting a tech lab here, so I think we'll be going with some sort of stim or combat shield timing. I'd hope he's going to get combat shield rather than stim, just because he's not really pushing for medivacs, and you kind of need the medivacs to make stim work. Otherwise you just kill your own troops pretty much, and like a couple of good siege tank shots will go through the rest of your army if you've already stimmed twice or something like that. So you just need to be a little bit careful. He's getting command centre down in the middle of his base, and this should well, it should allow him to expand, but he's going to need to keep getting up these add-ons. Another tech lab there, so I guess he's doing mass marauders now on top of these marines that he's got here. Meanwhile, of course, Grit is just going to pull up the front of the ramp here. We're actually seeing some SCVs pulled here as well, and I think they're just there to repair the siege tank. And with the high ground vision of this medivac here, the siege tank's absolutely going to be able to blow apart this front wall, and all these marines now are just going to be pushing up here for Grit, doing plenty of damage at the front, the siege tank providing cover support on top of that, and Chokeslam's finding himself in a really, really difficult position here now. Unless he can get out plenty of troops, get some sort of good splits going on so the siege tank can't do too much damage, he is going to struggle to hold this at the moment. He's comfortably behind on supply. He's got no real it doesn't look like he's going to be producing anything much more with these marines coming in. And actually, I'm not really sure how Chokeslam's going to hold this now. With Grit just comfortably pushing in, he's got the medivac on top. We've got the siege tanks sieging up behind, and these are going to go through a lot of these marines very, very quickly. And even though we are going to see some friendly fire here on the marines, actually just about, yeah, actually they were almost all killed there. We do have a single surviving marine though for Grit, and I do think, to be honest, Grit should be in a pretty good position to take this game if he can keep up this play, stay on top of Chokeslam as he's doing, and as he is, he's already doubling the supply, so it's looking pretty grim there. Just have a little look at the unit tab now. Neither player really has any marines left, but with 2 medivacs out, Grit's marines are going to have much more survivability. They're going to last a lot longer in combat, and well, as you can see here now, we're going to be seeing pretty much a clear up here of the last of the troops now, with 3 siege tanks down here for Grit. Chokeslam as being forced out the game. A GG from a very, very short game, I do believe. So, yeah, well, thanks very much for watching. That was quite a quick game. It was basically just who could pressure the hardest, and unfortunately for Chokeslam, despite his more marine early pressure thing, this gathering on the ramp here with the marines there, with the siege tank up on the high ground, didn't really work, was unfortunate, and yeah, as you can see, all the marines just comfortably died there, and Grit was able to just push back in, take the siege, get the siege tanks on the high ground, so they've got permanent vision up there, and take the game. So thanks very much for watching. I'll be back with game 2 in just a moment, and we're going to see if Grit can take the series. So thank you very much for watching. GG to both players. Cheers.